Are the polls losing their edge in predicting elections? Polls forecasted a Kamala Harris and Donald Trump statistical tie, and the perception that the election felt like a toss-up. Can we really trust these numbers anymore? Polling may be more habit than insight as the race remains too close to call. Let's go. This is You Can't Make This Shit Up. I'm David Washington, your host. All right. This is You Can't Make This Shit Up. I'm David Washington. So, the election's over. It's been about a week. And I really want to get to this particular topic, the polling. It seemed like every hour, on the hour, throughout the election cycle, especially as we got closer and closer to election day. But trust me, this was throughout the election cycle, whether it was Harris, Trump, Biden, Trump, and Nikki Haley, whatever. This cycle appeared to rely heavily on the polling. And I've talked about this before. I've scratched my head. It's like, why is there so much emphasis on the polling, particularly amongst the major legacy media? And it wasn't too long ago, like the last election cycle and the one before that, as far as the presidential and midterms, where people really thought, politicos thought, voters, the public who follow this polling and, the reporting of politics in the news really thought that, okay, particularly after the 2016 polling fiasco where just about everyone blew it, everyone in the polling consultancy blew it and completely missed the Donald Trump win over Secretary Hillary Clinton, that there were some doubts. And I particularly had some doubts. And I, being my first time working a Florida election, I saw and felt something completely different in the field. And the candidate I was working for at that time was an underdog. And at the end of the night, my candidate won, Hillary Clinton lost. And what we realized, despite the polling on behalf of our challenger and also the polling from the Hillary Clinton campaign, there were so many things taken for granted in regards to the electorate. And during 2026, one of the things that stands out was the fact that the sampling base sampled the same tired people, the same tired targets. And so I'm out there knocking on doors almost every day, talking to voters in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening, and getting to understand what their needs were. And this is something that I've never seen in my 30 odd years at the time, 30 odd years in politics, is that I'm seeing a Republican presidential campaign yard sign in the same yard as a Democratic local commissioner campaign yard sign. And I'm like, wow, something is going on here. Something is going on, and the rest is history. So back to the polling, the over reliance on these numbers And it was just overwhelming to the point where I think about maybe 2 weeks, a week and a half left in the campaign cycle this year's. I'm like, to hell with that. I'm just turning this stuff off. I really don't pay attention to the polling. As I've stated before, time and time again, the only poll that matters is the one on election day. So everyone is losing. The candidates and campaigns and campaign managers and campaign consultancies have to understand you're losing every day until you win it on election day, because of course on election day is the day you find out if you won or lost. So if you go into a campaign, and I don't care if you can have a ton of money, and we've seen this, a ton of money will buy you a whole bunch of things for a campaign that typically are not necessary. It just feeds the pockets of consultants. It's the hard work and the smart work of the campaign that gets you the victory. A good strategy, a great field operation. Things like that gets you wins. Signs don't vote. I learned that back when I was 17 years old, very first campaign. You can have so many signs all over the place. Signs do not vote. People vote. You have to go where your voters are. And this cycle is no exception. The same tire strategies, thousands upon thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars appropriated to the same ill-fated strategies is so frustrating, because that money could be spent wisely, and it breaks my heart because some really great candidates lose because of bad strategy. And part of that bad strategy is relying on the polling. I've had a situation where a political organization has got polling and say, "Oh yeah, this will be great. We're going to invest in this campaign," and then they have polling for another candidate, and I'm looking at the situation like, okay, you got polling for both candidates. Okay, all right. The polling for candidate A, who has a lot of money, but really no field operation, no unique or innovative strategy to go up against a lesser qualified, lesser financed, lesser managed candidate. However, the polling says, oh, the well financed candidate, you have an opportunity to win this. We'll just pour tons of money into it. However, the reality on the street is the lesser financed candidate, who has been working the streets, knocking on doors, getting their name out early and often. And it also helped that that particular district in the general election favored one political affiliation over the other. Oh, I just spilled my coffee. Can't do that, y'all. And did not spill all over the floor. Yay. And then you have another situation, situation B, where you have a high stakes race. You have a legacy candidate, and that means someone who has been in politics for a long time but hasn't really accomplished anything because of the dynamics of the state politics and so forth and so on. And you have a upstart candidate, new to politics, but very popular, very focused, and a decent strategy, and the same apparatus that is supporting the well-financed candidate in example A did polling for the candidate who is the upstart candidate. In example B, they said, well, okay, the polling says you're not going to win because you're going up against a legacy candidate, and we're going to leave it right there. Sorry. we're not going to invest in this campaign. We're going to invest in candidate over here in campaign number A, in campaign A. Like, whoa. The logic, I don't get the logic, because it turns out the candidate in campaign A, the well-financed candidate, got smoked. However, the candidate, the upstart candidate in campaign B came very close to winning their election. It just needed an infusion of a good strategy to close out the race and some dollars. And it would have been a game changer for the candidate and that particular political organization, and for the county and state, and maybe for the nation. Probably for the nation also. So, in essence, what I'm saying is, as a political innovator who's been doing this for 30 odd years, you know the story. There's a lot of money that's being spent, like the $1 billion candidate, Kamala Harris. And we know that's a lot of times that money is spent in a wise strategy, and strategies that have a decent return on the investment. And then we have those strategies that pretty much line the pockets of the consultants, and you pat the candidate on the butt after they lose and say, okay, we'll see you the next time. Thank you very much. I don't know. It just kind of, I know I'm not going to say this, for the last time, but people, candidates, politicals, campaigns, campaign managers, consultants, electeds, you spend a ton of money on a poll that really doesn't help you. If you have the mindset that I just have to win, and if I have trust in my strategy, if I have faith in my strategy and faith in myself to execute the steps needed for a winning campaign, really don't need polls. Go to their doors. Go to your voters' doors. Go where your voters are. Employ some deep canvassing into your strategy. The best way to know the kitchen table issues of a voter is by going to where they are, their front doors, and of course, in front of their devices. So don't be lazy. Our community deserves better than that. Don't be lazy. Our voters, our community deserve better. If you're not willing to put in the smart work, then don't run for office. Honestly, don't run for office, because people see right through that. And as we saw in the 2024 election, folks were held accountable. So we'll see. And what we need to do is to let everyone you know about Jay Washington Network and our valuable vault of podcasts. We have, of course, You Can't Make This Shit Up, the flagship podcast for the Jay Washington Network. We have the David Washington Show. That's yours truly. I've been doing a lot of the David Washington Show lately. And we just now getting back to the You Can't Make This Shit Up. We've got some great things. It's been busy. Check out our shorts and reels and TikToks. We've been investing a lot of time and energy into the short form content. So please, and we'll try to link back to the larger content, the long form content for those short form contents. So again, the David Washington Show. Then also you have Countertop Politics every Monday, 5 minutes of campaign insight, political innuendo, and of course the secret sauce of winning campaigns. Guaranteed. And then, of course, our newest property, our newest entity, our newest show, From the Margins with James Afont and David Washington, a perspective from a legacy Democrat's point of view. Jimmy Afont. Check it out. We've been putting a lot of resources into that show, and we're really excited about the views in the comments. Oh, so yes, please comment. Make sure you comment. Make sure you let us know what you think. Again, we'd love to hear what you have to say, but bring your facts, not your feelings, okay? Talk about. So please comment and share our content with those individuals that you think will benefit from our content. Your friends, your family, the influencers that you know, those politicals that you know, those candidates and elected individuals that you engage with. Please let them know and share this content because we know that you're sharing it. We know that. We see the numbers. We do. So we do know that. So, okay. I'm David Washington. This is You Can't Make This Shit Up, and we will see you the next time. All right. How do we do this? How do I end this? I hit the button, right? We'll see you the next time.